Welcome to another Wednesday webinar from ESU8. My name is Katie Morrow and I'm the Instructional Technology Facilitator here at ESU8. And today's topic is on extending your classroom with the choice of an LMS. We're going to explore two different options that most of our schools in ESU8 have access to, including Canvas and Google Classroom. My goals for this session are to expose you just to the key features of both of these options, Google Classroom and Canvas, but not to go in depth with either one. We can do that at a later time. And I would like you to set a personal goal that as you're watching, think about what would work for you in your learning environment, and maybe choose one tool or one piece of a tool that you could try out with students sometime this school year. I also want to show you how you can find additional support with either of these and more on down the road. So before we get started, it is important to know what LMS stands for and what it means. LMS is a learning management system. In one sense of explaining it, you might say it's a wrapper that contains all of your great educational tools and techniques that you use to engage with students. To show you an overview of what an LMS can do for your classroom and how it helps you expand your classroom, I'm going to show you an introductory video. It's actually promotional for Canvas, but you can get the sense of what any LMS might do by watching this short video.
LMS, it's short for Learning Management System, which is an official way of saying technology that unifies all your teaching tools in one easy place. Think about a classroom. Most have some basic things in common. Chairs, desks, probably a chalkboard, maybe a television. But what happens in each classroom is unique, personalized, and customized by the teacher. Maybe there's a life-size skeleton, or a vinegar volcano, an inspirational quote, or Sasquatch. It's the experience that sets each classroom apart. That's why the goal of Canvas LMS, the technology that helps take the classroom experience into the 21st century, is to just make it simple. To put our arms around whatever it is you do, whatever it is that makes that classroom special. Some wave of the future shiny thing, bring your own device, bring your own technology, one-to-one initiative, whatever it is, Canvas plays nice with all of it, making what works work even better. Canvas allows individual students to work at a personalized pace. Canvas can help you detangle and iron out common core. Canvas also helps keep parents involved by reaching out to them where they are with automatic notifications. And Canvas allows you to round everything up and centralize it in one easy place. Most of all, Canvas is easy to implement, easy to use, and easy to make your own. So let us help make teaching and learning easier for you and your students. Let us help you modernize your classroom.
So again, you could fill in the blank with any tool there and see the possibilities of what a learning management system can do. Now, to get started, I'd like to show you a side-by-side comparison of what Google Classroom and Canvas have as far as key differences. But both tools will allow you to go paperless. Both tools will allow you to engage your students to communicate greater and reach them more on a one-on-one inside of the classroom and out type of basis. And both tools will allow you to stay organized. So Google Classroom, you must have a Google domain at your school, at your institution. This is free, of course, too, but it needs to be in place in order to even start getting started with Google Classroom. It is completely free. It integrates with Google Drive. It has simple features for now. It's only been out for a year, but already in that year we've seen more advanced features created, and I am sure there's more to come down the road. Canvas, on the other hand, is hosted, or the domain is hosted by us at ESU8, so that you don't have to incur those initial setup fees for your district. It does, however, cost $6.50 per user. That's whether you're a student or a teacher. And that's for the whole school year and includes everything inclusive. The features in Canvas are very robust. There's more power within Canvas than we are even taking advantage of right now. So there's room to grow, and it can do a lot of things for a lot of different possibilities. And there's also tremendous help and support available, and I'm going to mention those, of course, during this webinar. And because there's teachers across the globe using Canvas, there's a lot of sharing going on in places like the Canvas Commons and the Canvas community. You're able to see ideas that have already been thought of and worked on by other teachers around the world. So we're going to start by doing the quick pass through Google Classroom. And to show you what this looks like, I actually borrowed some slides with permission from a teacher named Amy Meyer. So these next few slides come from her, and you can access her full presentation online through her Fried Technology website. So when you get started with Google Classroom, you'll navigate to classroom.google.com. You need to be signed into your school Google account. Alternatively, you can also install the Google Classroom app from the Chrome App Store. But either way, you do need to be signed into the school Google account, not your personal Gmail account. And then all you need to do is click Create a Class. If it's the first time you're signing in, you'll want to say that you're a teacher. Or a student if you're a student, obviously, but if you're joining a class for the first time for learning purposes, still say you're a teacher so that you have those teacher rights and the ability to create classes later on down the road. So the plus button to create your first class is up here in the upper right-hand corner. And when you click that plus, then you get to choose your class name and add a section and click the blue Create button. It's as simple as that. Now, students get into your class in one of two ways. They can either join your class with a class code, which is in your information, and they type that in and join your class, or you can go to the students panel and invite them with their email addresses. Now, here's an example of some of the themes that you would choose to make your class more visually appealing. And those are all built into the theme gallery for Google Classroom. And then you set your about information, the title of your class, a description, a contact email for yourself as the teacher, the base Google Drive folder that Google Classroom automatically creates for you and where everything lives inside of your Google account. You can also add permanent information down below, things like a syllabus or websites that are commonly used within your class. So this is a look at that About page showing that basic information and how it would display for the students when they visit your class and click the About. Next, you can know that this is a new feature that has been recently added where you can integrate with a calendar. And the calendar is automatically created when you start a new class, but then you can access it either from Google Calendar or from Google Classroom. If you assign something with a date attached, it'll automatically be added to that Google Calendar, but then you can also add manually different events onto the calendar as the need arises. So here's the type of files that you can add as an assignment. You can add, of course, a PDF document, a video, an image, and when you distribute those, you can post them in the form of an announcement with an attachment or an assignment. Now, in an assignment, you have three options for how the students use that document or that attachment or that file that you're handing out. They can either just view it alone as a handout and not edit it or make any changes, but just reference it. The second option is that they can all collaboratively edit that one document, much like a Google Doc works. You open up a new document, in this case you send it out to your students as an assignment, and then they all add their answers on the one Google Doc. Or the third option is the more traditional worksheet method in teaching where you make a copy for each student. They edit their own copy or add their answers on that one document and then hand it back in. And that's the way we're going to take a look at here in the next couple of slides. But it is pretty nice to know that you have three ways to distribute files via Google Drive in Google Classroom. So once you've added that assignment, you can give it to multiple classes as well. This is a nice feature if you teach more than one section of a class. You don't have to go out and reinvent that assignment. You can just click and select the different sections that you want to receive that assignment. On the student side, when assignment has been signed, this is what it would look like. They would see the document, an example assignment here. It's handed out or distributed, assigned to Harry Hornet, the student. Harry gives a question here to his teacher. Am I supposed to do this? And yes, you are, Harry. So he clicks on it, and then he completes the assignment, answers the questions, and clicks the blue Turn In button. You can see here that the questions are listed on the Google Doc that he will answer, type in his answers, and then that Turn In button is directly above it. Now over on the left, you're seeing what happens magically in the background. Google Drive creates that folder for your classroom when you just initiate Classroom at all for your Classroom account, and inside of that folder is a folder for each class that you create, and inside of each one of those is a folder for every student that's automatically created that hosts or holds onto all of their files. So once Harry turns this in, it automatically goes into his folder in the corresponding class within Google Drive. The sharing settings happen magically in the background. Before the document's turned in by Harry, the settings on it are set so that he is the owner and the teacher, Amy Mayer, can comment. Once he's clicked that Turned In button, those settings change. Now Amy is the owner and Harry can only view. Now let's say he needs to make some changes to that. He would need to unsubmit, and that regains those editing rights for the student. He can continue to work and then resubmit later on. When a teacher gives grades and wants to hand back a corrected assignment, they see this in their Google Classroom assignment inbox. They have the ability to add notes and, of course, a numeric grade and see the answers of each student. They make those comments and put in that score for each student, and then click the check mark next to that student's name. And they do have to click the return button to send it back so that the student can see it. It doesn't happen instantaneously like you may be used to in Google Docs. So just important to understand that workflow within Google Classroom. So you can get started with your own Google Classroom just by visiting classroom.google.com, and you can learn definitely more about Google Classroom and find out some support by visiting this website, support.google.com/edu/classroom. And underneath of here, there's a great set of overview instructions for the different parts of Classroom and different issues that arise with it. And then you can look for help either as a teacher or a student. And there's even help for Google Apps admins here if you need some help with whoever's running your domain to turn on some additional features. So that's a Google Classroom in a nutshell. Now let's get started taking a look at Canvas with this short video.
This is the video where we're supposed to show you all the cool things Canvas can do. But it's actually more about the cool things you can do with a little help from Canvas. With fewer clicks and steps, stuff like speed grader and drag and drop calendaring will give you more time in a day. You can do what you have to in a way you actually want to. The communication between teacher and learner is so critical, and with Canvas, it's on your terms. Students can receive notifications, submit work, and interact with learning materials on the devices they use in the ways they're used to. And Canvas's open platform lets you provide feedback and other interaction using video, blogs, wikis, or several other ways. You know the learning experience you want to create, and Canvas is the perfect sidekick. Bring the best of the web into your lessons with open integrations, reinvent assessments with richer content, easily tie outcomes to your grading, and then monitor it all with analytics. Teaching or learning is what you do. Helping you make it simple, smart, and transformative is what Canvas does. Give it a try. See what Canvas can do for you.
So I think that video does a nice job of showing how powerful Canvas can be. I know that it keeps saying simple, and that truly is what an LMS does, but it looks complicated when it's showing you all those great features. Know that you don't have to do all at once. You can start with one section or one area of Canvas first and just implement another tool within Canvas later on and grow into that rich immersive experience for our students later on down the road. It's just nice to know that it's all connected in that wrapper. And to show you some examples of Canvas, I actually want to go out to some courses that are in action right now with teachers who have given me permission to give you a glimpse into them. I'm going to go to Safari and just pull up the Canvas website. Know that when you're going to Canvas, you want to go to esu8.instructure.com and not just canvas.com to access our domain here at ESU8. This is my dashboard, and you can see the different classes that I'm either the teacher in or enrolled in as a student. And when you open up any of those classes, you can set your start page to be whatever you want it to be. Here I might have a welcome message and some image video that I would want students to watch to know what this course is about. You can have links and readily available materials, kind of like the syllabus that we saw at the Google Classroom example as well, but that can all be waiting for your students as a welcome page or a start page. And you can go back to your dashboard and access all of your other classes. This obviously can be seen in different views, but let's go ahead and visit a working class right now, Mrs. Brown's Spanish 1. You can see right away her wall is set to show the assignment notification, which there are 13 of them right now. I can X these out as I complete them, making for an easier way to manage my workload as a student. I can also go into the side menu here that shows all of the contextual menu options that Mrs. Brown has turned on for her class, and I can just go to assignments there. Now this shows me in a slightly different view those same assignments and whether or not I have handed something in. Now I'm just an observer in this class, so the information that you're saying isn't really specific to me as a student, which it would be where students are here. But I really enjoy as an option in Canvas that Canvas allows you to view all of your classes as a student too, so you know exactly what they're seeing. And then this information, of course, is customized to whether or not they've handed it in. These little green check marks here, they show whether an assignment is on or off. So anything that you do, whether it's an assignment, a page, a module, or anything like that, you have to actually turn it on. You can build it and have it waiting in this class, like these future assignments, but when Mrs. Brown turns them on and publishes them, then they're actually viewable to the students. So that again goes back to what I was saying a minute ago about viewing your courses as the student sees them to see what they're seeing and what they're not able to see. Any of these assignments, let's just click on the first one here. On down the road in Canvas as well. Let's go back to dashboard now and let's visit another class. This is an American Literature class for juniors, I believe. Mrs. Gottschall's start page here has the syllabus, the grading policies, and everything here at a quick glance to get the students excited about how to navigate through her course. And one unique thing that she does is she does her weekly lesson plans on Google Docs. So if you're already using Google tools, you don't have to say, oh, I have to use Google Classroom because I already use Google Docs. Because Canvas works with Google just as well in a different way. These are Google documents that are ongoing. You can see her weekly calendars here and then days of the week listed down below. I just liked this concept because it's so well organized into sections of today, what you will, the objective, the standard or concept the students are working on, the bell ringer activity, the procedures, the closure, and the homework. And then each week, Mrs. Gottschall can just add another set of assignments to this. Students and parents and anyone with access to that Canvas course can see them ongoing and never have I didn't know what we were doing as an excuse. Other great features in here as well, but I just wanted to highlight that one as an idea for that American literature class. Now I'd like to show you pages, and this one is in Mr. Peterson's digital media class. So pages are nice too. Maybe in the past, if you're an Angel or a Blackboard user, it seemed like you could do an assignment or you could do a document, but to put them all together in a nice looking page format wouldn't be as slick as it is now with Canvas. Let's take a look here at a graphic design assignment. These are actually separated into modules, and you can see how this is an example of a page that has a lot of information on it in one place. There's links to other website documents that you're going to need. There's projects, which all link to different project instructions. There's actual files, too, that in this Photoshop example the student would need in order to put together the project. And let's go ahead and go back here to pages. So you can build those pages and put videos within. You can put links out to other websites. Instructional, here we go. Here's an example of a photo to demonstrate the principle of focal point, of rule of thirds, and this is all easily contained and nicely contained on a page. There's links, and of course down below that you might want to add the assignment so that students can go to one-stop shop to do everything that they need to do. And it just depends on how you want to organize your content. I was mentioning a minute ago about modules. This is the way that you can group your content in almost like sections, units, or even just in time periods. So maybe the first 9 weeks would be a module, and then group everything underneath of that and indent it almost like an organized outline. So another class that I want to show you with things that I know you'll want to use if you're trying out Canvas is 8th grade science here. This is Mr. Morrow's class. And again, the announcements feature, those announcements can be closed out after they're viewed, but they're a quick glance reminder as soon as the student clicks on that class of what's going on, and those assignment notifications too. Now, some of Mr. Morrow's assignments, you'll notice, or one of the ways that he likes to use Canvas the best is by doing quizzes. And these quizzes can come from other quizzes you've previously built and be imported from several different sources, or you can create them from scratch. And I'm just going to click on a random quiz here. This is just an 8-question quiz with all kinds of different options here. Let me go ahead and preview it. Question types are many. You can have a complete the question or fill in the blank type of a question. You can have a multiple choice type of a question, of course. You can view one question at a time. You can skip ahead and go back around. True, false. You can have them all be graded automatically in Canvas for you, or you can have some where you want to look at them later on as the teacher and give the feedback on those as well. When you submit that course, of course, there's options for letting students retake it or not, and keeping the highest score or showing all the scores, whether they get to see the right answers or not. You get to control all of that as the Canvas instructor. And so it's a really powerful way to keep track of all of your students' learning and measure and evaluate how they're doing with some formative that's built right in. Now let's talk about the other part of grading, the grade book. So if I go back here to the course's main menu again and go to grades, Canvas has a nice feature called Speed Grader that's going to allow me to quickly see each student's submission on a document or a project, and it's taking a little second here to populate the grades. But then it does have the grade book view too, which we're looking at now, where you can see individual points and change them if you want to, or go directly to that submission so that you can read it. These are a text entry submission, so it was a lab demonstration. You would just enter the score yourself. And the speed grader here is what lets you go quickly through, seeing them one at a time. There we go, sorry. There we go. Sorry, let's go to speed grader here. On the drop down, lets you see quickly one student at a time, or hide their names and just go through and view. This is a keynote assignment, so they handed that in. I could view it. I could go to the next student and the next student and the next student, and at a quick glance, see everything that they've handed in. Now this is powerful too. In addition to putting in the scores here and the comments here, you can also add a media comment. So I could add a recording of myself talking to the student, or a video clip showing them what I mean. So hey Leandra, nice job on your keynote file. Thanks for sharing it with me. You hit that and you submit it and
Leandra, nice job on your keynote.
Save it. So throughout Canvas, there's actually the opportunity to add media in the form of voice and video. And this is whether you're a student or a teacher, and whether you want to put it on a page of content or whether you want to put it as a feedback score. So some other features in Canvas that I really enjoy include things like the survey ability. You can do a non-grade quiz that doesn't have a grade associated with it, but it still sends out those questions so that students can put their responses, and you can generate or see kind of gauge the level of understanding of your class or level of interest. The calendar is pretty powerful too, similar to Google Classroom, but you can create those events are automatically added to the calendar when they're assignments and have a date attached to them, or you can add your own events on the calendar and move them around with a drag and drop. And discussions is something that Canvas really is attractive to teachers in any subject area. Think about when you do assign your students a discussion, or maybe commenting on a blog. In the past, I know as a teacher myself, to go out and find where the students did their discussion, their feedback, their commenting, and see it all was very time consuming. I'd have to go click on a lot of links and view a lot of different answers and responses in order to give them credit or see what they had written. But within Canvas, if you start a discussion, students' discussion posts are automatically tied back to that speed grader, so I can see them quick and easily by using that and read what they wrote. You can also turn on a simple feature in discussions where they are not allowed to see each other's posts or the other students' posts until they've submitted theirs. So this works well if you want to hear their authentic original ideas first and then let them comment on each other's thoughts as well. And they're threaded discussions, so they can go levels deep, and you can discuss on somebody else's discussion and add to it, which is nice too. The audio and video capabilities I already mentioned, whether I just want to give my student a quick audio message or whether they want to give me one, or if I want to leave a short video recording of the lesson for the day and I'm going to be gone for the sub to share or for my students to watch when they're not at school. All of that can be done, actually created within Canvas and contained within Canvas and delivered to the students that way via Canvas. Conditional criteria is nice too if you want to set up something that's more independent so that students can work through your course on their own pace. You can say, until my students get a 70% or higher on this quiz, they don't go on to the next module, or whatever. It's setting up the conditional criteria so that once they do that criteria, then they can unlock something else. And I've already mentioned the speed grader, which is, again, a personal favorite. So Canvas support is very deep. As of just yesterday, actually, we turned on the first level chat support and the calling support hotline for every one of our ESU 8 users. So now when you have a question, you have these choices. Probably the first place to go is just the Canvas community. You click on that help button, which I'll remind you where it is in just a second, and you can go down and search the community. Search the Canvas guides. Ask the community with a question that you have and see if somebody else responds back. But if you come down here to submit a question where it says report a problem, I know it says report a problem. It doesn't always have to be a problem either. It can just be a question that you have. But if you ever do have a problem, this is definitely where you should go, because right at that moment in time, you can tell them what happened, show them a picture, even a screenshot of what happened, and they can get back to you within 24 hours. But even more immediate than that is that phone and chat support. And this is what was just turned on. This is a live chat feature so that you can just chat with someone right there and then with the problem you're having or the issue that you're wondering about. Or you can actually call a phone number too, and that's all built in again to that $6.50 per user cost. So nice to know that it's there, and just to show you where that is, when you're in Canvas, your main toolbar is has the help button at the very bottom. So if you just go way down here to the help question, then you'll see all of those options that I was just mentioning. Lots of great stuff there. And the Canvas guides that go on out to the community.canvaslms.com. These are great. They're short kind of cheat sheets that show you what to click on and give you a step-by-step explanation of anything you're looking for. I mentioned the Commons too, and that's it's great for looking for already made materials and content to possibly use into your class. And it's not in the help button, it's in the Commons button. But it's definitely worth giving a look, especially if you're already using Canvas and you're looking for something to add to your courses. You can find different modules, courses, assignments, quizzes, discussions that are already created, and then import them into yours and share them with your students. So you could put in a topic related to what you're teaching, some content area information, or there's a lot of and content in here on learning Canvas as well. So with that, we know that Canvas has a lot of support. We know that Google is very free. Both tools are great for expanding your classroom walls and getting your students more engaged in the learning process. I do have a few final words of advice. And reminder to turn to us anytime at ESU8 for help. You can email me at katie@esu8.org. But if I were to tell you one thing that I think you should do after today's webinar, I would say just use something. And it doesn't matter if it's a tool that you're already comfortable with that isn't one of these two at all. Use something to connect your students with the learning and to connect with your students. And LMS is powerful, and it definitely is something that our students need in today's educational context. Start small and allow yourself time to grow and improve and add to it. If you just do one project a week on Canvas, if you start with maybe just the calendar, if you maybe just want to do a module or a page that goes along with one unit or one project, that's great. And on down the road, you'll be amazed at how quickly everything starts to grow inside of your Canvas classes and how easy it becomes for future years and future times that you teach that. Consistency and communication across a campus should be a goal. Personally, I think everything is implemented at a higher rate if everybody's kind of on the same page and you can help each other. So there's a lot of great tools out there. But if you and your teaching colleagues choose the same one, then you can all be learning together and supporting each other. And the students can go from room to room and be able to share that information as well amongst the teachers and amongst themselves. So trying to let each other know when you're having issues, let each other know when something that does work and how to use it, that can only happen and grow when you're all kind of on the same platform to start with. And if possible, if you're trying to look at a new tool or a new solution for your school, maybe try to experience your LMS as a learner yourself first before teaching with it. And it does show you what the students see and experience so that you can better customize your teaching to the learner, which is ideal. So don't forget to reach out to me, Katie at esu8.org, with any questions, comments, or additional areas that you would like support on as far as using an LMS, either Google Classroom or Canvas, or anything else related to technology. Truly open up the world to your students and show them that the classroom doesn't stop at those four walls. Thanks a lot for listening today, and have a great rest of the week.